wanted to go over a few tips to keep your pet warm in the winter. So for my pets, I've got two little dogs that we adopted, and they came from Puerto Rico. So their genetic makeup is from a much warmer climate. They love the snow and they love the winter, but as they get older, I can see Paco, he kind of shivers when he goes outside. So I want to keep them warm in winter and give them some choices so that if they want to be warmer, they can find a place to be warm, and if they want to get away from the heat, they can get away from it. So sometimes even just when they're sleeping at night, I'll just take a little blanket and just lie it over them as they're sleeping. And Lavinia especially, she loves to be wrapped in a blanket, and sometimes just her little nose is sticking out. So if you have a geriatric pet, these warming tips might come and might help with things like arthritis, just giving them some more energy, just heating their bones and muscles and from the inside out. So let's get started. The first tip I have, I sit on the floor a lot because I'm working with pets, and I feel drafts and things come in, and I also feel the heat when there's forced air heat in someone's house. I can really feel that heat and dryness coming in. And my constitution, I'm very prone to dryness, so the winter for me is very dry and cold, and then you have the heat inside that's drying me more. And then I just don't feel like keeping up with fluids because the more I drink, I just feel colder. So I try to drink more warmer fluids. And for me, that's a good experiment. It works great, but it's hard to keep pets hydrated in the winter when they're not feeling up to their best. So for older pets, I would offer them something like this. And all it is a little hammock that's up off the ground. It's really sturdy. You can get a little pad for it. And this way they're not completely on the ground. They're a little bit elevated, and sometimes that alone can help them staying away from the cold. The next thing, you can get things like heating. You can get things like heating mats. I have this amethyst mat, so it's supposed to have some healing qualities with the crystals in it. And these things range in price from like $200 to $300 up to like $1,000. So it just has a little heating gauge with temperatures that you can control, and I'll sit on this at night. And when I turn it on, the animals will sometimes come to it. So it's something you can have. But some people don't like to have a heating pad turned on all day or all night in their house. So the next best thing you can get is a self-warming heating pad. And all this is, I sometimes use this in the crate when we're traveling with the pets, and I put it in, and when they lie on top of it, their body heat reflects off of it, and they generate their own heat mat. So this is a good thing to have. You can just put that down. They can decide to use it if they want to or not. And the next thing you could try is something like a bean-filled little thing here, and you put this in the microwave. And this heating pad heats up in the microwave. I put this in for about 2 minutes, and this will last for a good hour or two actually when I'm covered with a blanket. And when I have this on me, the animals usually come. Usually my cat will come and kind of sit on this with me. So they enjoy this. So you can put this out. You can put a blanket on top of it. With any of these things, I would just caution you that if your pet is not ambulatory, like if they can't move away from something easily, don't put this right on top of their skin. You don't want to cause any burns or discomfort. So lay it near them or next to them, cover it with a blanket, make it an option for them if they want to use it or not. There are also these little hand warmers that you can buy. And what this is, it's just a little warmer, and you turn it on, and it warms up. And it doesn't have a lot of heat. It's for your hand, you put it in your pocket. But this could be something really useful that if you have it, on a pet bed or something, you can put it under a blanket or just put it in the area, and it's really safe to use. So that could be something that could be really helpful too. Or if you're transporting your pet somewhere, you could put this in the crate with them, as long as they're not chewers. You don't want them to chew this up. The other tip I have is if you have a geriatric pet who has arthritis. They can be really creaky, and it's hard for them to get started in the morning usually. So sometimes what I recommend to people is to use a hairdryer and put it on the lowest setting, and you don't want to hold it in one spot. You want to move it around and just gently heat your pet's back end or any arthritic areas And once they kind of warm up, and you're going to give them a little massage at the same time, and just a few minutes of this in the morning can really get them started for the day and just warm them up, gets their digestion going. So that could be a really helpful thing to do. If they don't like it or they're wiggling, just let them go. Don't do it. It means they don't need it. Then the last tip I have is little sweaters. So if you have a pet who maybe doesn't have a lot of hair or is just geriatric, maybe doesn't have a lot of muscle to keep heat in, just put a little sweater. This is a little hot. This is Lavinia's hand knit sweater that I made for her last year. And this is her outdoor coat. And she doesn't, she's young, so she generates enough heat on her own. But if you have an older pet or just like a small pet who just seems to be the kind of pet that could use a jacket, you can get thinner material, you can get doggy PJs. What I would recommend is to get something where they can still have space to go to the bathroom. So if you have a boy dog, make sure that there's space there so they can easily go to the bathroom. And that is something easily washable that you can take on and off. And I would recommend to take it off, either daily or every other day, and just, give them a rub down, give them a good brushing, wash the coat or the PJs. You don't want to leave this on for weeks and months at a time. You still want their body to breathe, just like you wouldn't be wearing the same clothes all the time, just change it up. But that could be a really useful thing too. So I hope this helps you and your pet get through the colder seasons. And feel free to subscribe to this YouTube channel or subscribe to my newsletter to make sure that you keep getting these helpful tips. Okay, see you soon.